Bizarre Brain Comics. Oh, hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, we're going to go back a ways, and take a look at Teen Confessions number 88 from 1975, Charlton Comics. This is February and Valentine's Day is fast approaching. So, what we want to do is take a look at some of the romance comics. I've done a little bit before. It really is kind of sad that the romance comics have pretty much gone away. And some of the romance aspects of comics has been rolled into the mainstream superhero titles, but this is, for those who don't know, Teen Confessions. This is a romance anthology title. Well, they all were from Charlton Comics, and it ran for 97 issues from 1959 to 1976, featuring the work of various and sundry writers and artists. So we can take a look here. And we'll just keep it kind of short. This is a nice cover illustration, but it's actually they're just using a splash panel from a story inside for the cover. Charlton got to be doing that a lot in the later 70s, and the romance comics virtually died by 78. The last few titles was. But they would, Charlton would occasionally have another one because they would just spontaneously reprint various previously published comics, and sometimes the romance comics were among them. So here we go. And as I said before, also romance comics usually had some very, very nice artists working on them. There's some very nice work because, of course, they had to be able to. That's why I said I think Vince Colletta that was his best outlet. Was his stuff looked best there, but he wound up doing all kinds of other stuff. But they had to be able to make do some very lovely young ladies, not just pretty or sexy or gorgeous or anything like that. They had to have a certain loveliness to them, and they had to be able to draw very handsome young men who did not look like superheroes, and it worked. Our first story, this issue has 3 stories in it. The Boy for Me, and even though the characters kind of look a little bit older, they are teenagers. I guess they're still in high school, but in this case, they're both Italian descent. Both of their parents came from Italy when they were young, and they had arranged marriages, and they're trying to not forcefully arrange a marriage, but suggest a marriage for their children. The boy here, his name is Paul. Actually says Paolo Giuseppe Ibonelli, but Paul Evans. And the girl, I don't think we ever find out her name because it's Gina. Okay, Gina. They're spending some time together because the parents are living in different states, and they brought the boy to stay. Well, Gina and her parents came to stay a little while with Paul's parents, and they both have other interests at the time, but they like each other, and they kind of play it up a little bit for their parents' sake, even double dating and stuff. So, but she starts getting a little bit jealous when he's all snuggly with his girlfriend. Plus, she's distrustful because she had seen her messing around with another boy at that time, and but they're being good friends, and then they have to go back and everything's fine because the parents said, "Well, we won't force you, but it would be nice if you would, you know." So, but she gets home and she's not quite content anymore with her boyfriend, who's Bonky. Kind of a name is Bonky, and they break up, and then their parents are going on vacation in Hawaii together, and take them with them, and so they meet again in Hawaii, and they're having a good time, and that's when they decide that they have, since they've both broken up with their other partners, and they go, "Oh, look at all the hearts! Oh, sparkle, sparkle, heart, heart, heart." Yes, they said, "Oh, yes, yes, darling," and then they decide that they do love each other, and they haven't even graduated high school yet. Then the next one, this is actually has a writer credit. He signed it, Nicholas Alasia, and I've seen his name and seen his stuff before. He's a very fine artist, but otherwise no creator credits. This is "Come Steal My Love." They need a comma in there because, or maybe they do mean it. Come steal my love. It could go either way. This lady is the daughter of a successful businessman, and he's got this guy who's come, and they start hanging out together. He's a real estate person, selling from trying to get people to buy and invest in a particular bit of property on a Bahamian island and stuff, and all this other stuff. He's just very, very charming, handsome, well off, etc., etc., and he's getting doing very well with selling, getting a lot of people to invest and stuff. But something doesn't quite strike with her, and someone else too. And he starts doing some snooping around and overhears part of a conversation from her with his employers, and she's a little curious because when he made the call, it wasn't it was a more local type number, and so she's getting just a little bit suspicious, but brushes it off. They're having a good time, but then now I can't get my pages apart, and then they're out necking, and the next day some comes and says, "I told you, I warned everyone, I knew Guy Emmons was a phony." Hold it, Carl, you better have facts. It says, "The Bahamian Realtors Group is peddling worthless land. Your friend has swindled everyone in town, including your father. Now Emmons has disappeared." Well, she couldn't get a hold of him. She couldn't find him. Finally, he does show up. Turns out that he was being an unwitting participant, that he figured it out. Everyone's money is back. He is in the clear, and they're after that. And then it's smoochy, smoochy, smoochy. That was, and the romance aspect was relatively light compared to the others. This is probably the one where we got the cover. It says Eno, I think is what it says, and it's the Love Pirate. This fellow is known as Johnny Love, and I gather that it's either an ongoing series of stories or intended to be that, with this character Johnny Love. He's seen this girl who was swimming from this yacht out here, and she was too far out, and she got exhausted. He had to go out there and save her. He brought her in and found a little seaside cave where he has been staying. helps her out, gets her made her coffee so she can get warm and stuff. Then suddenly, clunk! Somebody smacks him in the head, and stuns him, and it's the guy she's with who's is a real jerk, and one of the sailors from that yacht. Turns out this guy's well off, but he's into. He basically conned her to come with him, so he can take pictures of her. He's apparently a photographer, and she's not. And he's got setting up all kinds of pictures, where he can then sell to the for ad agencies and stuff, and to his benefit. But they haul her back, and he's Johnny Love is then concerned for her welfare because at this point it's kidnapping, because she says, "Don't leave, you're hurting me," and she did not want to go back with him, and they force her. At that point, it is kidnapping, and so he listened to the radio and the weather and said a storm was coming up pretty soon, and in the process they were talking, and they told that he had having some problems with his family, and he dropped out of college and stuff, and he's basically trying to find himself. So he this is actually almost not a romance story at all, but he gets on his bike and he rides farther south to another place where they would have pretty much had to have gone, and they pulled into this pier tied up so they can ride out the storm that's coming, and so he borrows a boat. Now you can see the nice artwork. The work done on the motorcycle here is great, even though you can't really see the details very well. And the boats are just right spot on here. Now that's a difficult way to draw the boat, and it's right on. He goes out to the yacht where the guy's taking pictures of the girl, and says, "The real reason you're here is I'm crazy about you." And so he basically kidnapped her because he's hot for her, and he's not going to, being overly possessive. Johnny Love climbs up over the side, and confronts the guy, and while the goon sailor is going to try to take him out, he outsmarts him and smacks his head against looks like the davit, and tosses him over to the side. Then the redheaded fella here saying, I know karate, but while he gets momentarily distracted, Johnny Love weighs into him. He doesn't get a chance for any karate. Lays him low, grabs the girl, they get back on the boat and go back to the pier, and he gets her on his bike, and he takes her home. Says, "Head straight home, Johnny. If I were your mother, or a girl who knew you back where you live, I'd miss you terribly. I'll go home, Phoebe, I promise." And he does. He takes off and says, "But will Johnny Love ever reach home? Can he go back? Can anyone recapture all that he had? All that he was when he was young?" As if he wasn't young now. Perhaps we'll learn more in the next saga of Johnny Love. Oh, it's some silly. One of the reasons I think was the decline of the romance was because the way the romance comics was the way women were usually depicted here as very old-fashioned, even for the time, and stuff like that. But that's all I had to share with you this time. But I love the old romance comics, partially because I didn't care for them, of course, when I was a kid, and I very seldom got any. And in some cases, when I had some that someone had given me because they knew I was into comics, I used them as trade fodder, for somebody else for other things. And I wish I had kept them now. So Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Tell me how much you love the old romance comics, or tell me how much you hate the old romance comics, and glad they're dead. All that, whatever the case may be. Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.